It's a great speech, and it leads us to another great moment of our meeting of this morning, which is the education moment, which will be by Harlina. Harlina Indra is, let me introduce you to Harlina. Harlina is currently taking advantage of the online meetings to hold three officer positions this year. She's on one side, VP Education at Trainers and Coaches Advanced Online. She's club president of Jakarta Bahasa, sergeant at arms at Manhasset Fort Washington in New York, USA. So it's great, all this, taking the online opportunities. She joined Toastmasters in October 1999. And when you check her list of offices held at Toastmasters in the profile, you see that the club officer role she has taken, she has a hot spot for the role as VP Education. And she really wants members to progress in the pathway, and she wants members to take opportunities to train their leadership skills. And she's really here to share that with us. No more words. Let the water flow from the mouth of the fish. Harlina Indra, over to you for the educational moments. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this beautiful introduction. For people who want to ask questions, you're free to Zoom text Alex Agaba, so he can select the questions to be asked to me. And indeed, I would like to share with you what I have experienced as a club president first, then take one question, and after that, if time permits, I would like to share some more about some of the roles that you can take as a club officer, in which you can actually practice your leadership skills and communication skills. So first, what did I experience before and during my leadership as a club president? I remember this conversation, December 2020. My club president said to me, "Harlina, be patient. He will eventually understand his task as a club officer. Give him at least 6 months to adjust himself to his new task." At that time, I was the club secretary, and I was like, what? 6 months? If my life was a cartoon movie, the smoke would come out of my ears because I was fuming. I was like, if I am the club president, I will do it differently. I would say, you do this, you do that, and be careful. Words of my club president were ringing again in my ears. Harlina, Toastmasters International is a voluntary organization. No one gets paid here. If you use your vocal force, then all club officers will run away and they won't come back. Yeah, that was December 2020. At that time, I already decided to be the next club president. But I was still kind of afraid. Yeah. I had 3 fears. I was afraid that I won't be patient enough. I was afraid that I was not trustworthy enough. And I was afraid that I will not listen enough. Okay, people say, face your fear. Run towards the roar. You know, if somebody from the Toastmasters leadership says to you, hey, you there, come here. You want to know about leadership? You want to grow? Do become a Toastmasters leader. So I ran towards that roar. And fast forward, about 1 year later, here I am. I'm in my 10th month as the club president. And I have to admit that I sometimes run towards the roar. Sometimes I just walk towards the roar. And sometimes I just jog towards the roar. So let's start with the good news. First, my fear about patience. I never thought that I had that much patience. Okay, we had already our first EXCO meeting before our term in June 2021. And we already set up our plan for our preparation for our weekly Saturday morning meetings. So the VP Education was supposed to invite all the members to subscribe at our online agenda. The VPPR was supposed to set the flyer on Wednesday on all the WhatsApp group and social media. And the SAA was supposed to put all the Zoom links on Friday, the day before the meeting. Did everything go according to plan? Yes. Well, 1 to 2 days, yeah, besides the target. So sometimes I reminded them privately, not sometimes, often. And sometimes I just did like this. Calm down, patience, patience. But you know, the patience, it paid off. And indeed, after about 3 months, all the officers, they were able to find their rhythm, each on their own way. Like, for example, the SAA, she was supposed to do it on Friday, but then she felt that it was more comfortable to put the link on Thursday, and so on and so on. And I was glad that I was patient enough and I didn't use my focal force. So, hey, I ran towards the roar. What about trustworthiness? Well, the way how you can build trustworthiness is, for example, by the way how you communicate with the members. My predecessor, he was so eloquent in his language when he speaks, when he also writes. Me, Indonesian was my fourth language. And all my writings were edited by my SAA. And I also let my other club officers open and close the meeting so that I don't have to do it. So I ran away. But can I do that the whole time? Of course not. This one, I still have to face my fear. So for this one, I'm still walking towards the roar. And what about listening? Well, I do love to listen though, to my own voice. You know, one day, my extrovert immediate past president, he said, Harlina, you know, our excos, we should have this Zoom meeting together, you know, like a bonding experience. Oh yeah, this is almost year end. We should do it on the 31st of December. I was like, yeah, because I'm an introvert, you know, not really into that kind of stuff. And then the extrovert VP Education was like, yeah, we could go do some games or something. And I was like, yeah. And my SAA was like, oh, New Year's Eve. I don't want to talk about New Year's celebration. I don't want to talk about New Year's resolution. I don't want to talk about Toastmasters. And I was like, but what are we going to talk about? Because in our WhatsApp EXCO group, we are really discussing a lot, but it was all about Toastmasters. Reluctantly, I invited all the EXCO members one by one, privately. Do you want to come? Do you want to come? Do you want to come? And to my horror, all but one accepted my invitation. And we did the Zoom meeting on the 31st of December at 9 o'clock in the evening. And yeah, I have to admit, it was fun. We talked about our personal interests, about our favorite food. And I was glad that I listened to my club officers, even though reluctantly, I have to admit. So here, I really learned how to listen. So ladies and gentlemen, running towards the roar who says, hey, do you want to grow? Do you want to learn more about yourself? Why don't you practice leadership skills and public speaking skills and communication skills? Maybe as VP Education or Sergeant at Arms or VPPR. So what do you think? when your leaders come in roaring towards you and say, let's become a leader, let's grow together, would you do it? Now I'm open for one question.
Thank you, Harlina. Thank you very much. Open for one question.
Is there a question?
Yes, let me ask you, how do you, how do you manage your different roles as a leader? Is the difference, you're taking opportunity of the online environment. That goes with also the time differences like we have here. How do you manage these conflictual leadership roles? And I know it needs to be you need to be vigorous, full of energy, but how do you do it? Thank you. It would educate us.
That's a very good question. I have to admit that in the beginning I had some problems because the club in which I'm the club president is every Saturday morning, and the one in which I'm a VP is Thursday, twice a month. So it's close, it's quite close. So therefore it's better to block everything. So Saturday is my Toastmasters day. Sorry guys. Okay, family, sorry family. I will come to your house on Sunday, but not on Saturday. So I really have to block it. Saturday is it. And also Thursday and Saturday. So those 2 days are off the limits for other activities. And I also try not to bother my fellow club officers too much. So I also say, okay, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I will not bother them. And then I start bothering them on Wednesday and Thursday, so that they are not too fed up with me, because we have to go for the long run. We have to hold it for 1 year. So that's how I do it.
Thank you very much, Indra.
Yeah.
A question from fellow Toastmaster and guest. A question to Harlina.
How much time do I have left for part 2?
Just about 8 more minutes, Harlina. 8 more minutes.
Yes, Moses.
8 more minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 more minutes to speak.
Moses.
I think we can go ahead. So considering the time, and go ahead. It's okay.
Okay. So for some of you may be thinking, okay, I would like to be club officer, but it will take 1 year. And what if something happens in my personal life and I cannot do it? So I can share a little bit about what happened in my term as a secretary. That was 1 year ago. We started in July, and all of a sudden, in September, our club president became ill. Can you guess the disease that he had? Yes, he had COVID. And for 5 weeks, he was off. However, just before he was absent, we had an EXCO meeting. He was not very well that time, but he was really committed to that EXCO meeting. And now I understand why, because in that meeting, we could discuss, we could voice our opinions, and also we can make an action plan. And it is that action plan that actually kept us going, even though our leader was sick. Okay, we were led by our VP Education, but that was where I felt how our club president was really committed to guide us to action. So that is what I learned as a secretary. What I also learned as a secretary is to listen very carefully, to write more, and actually help people. Because first, I'm the one who makes the notes during the meetings. I also learned how to ask for help. Like if I cannot make it to the meeting, then I ask for help. Can you help me? Because usually I don't really like to ask for help. I want to do it by myself, but here I can. And I also learned how to help other people, like the PP education, because the secretary is supposed to help the PP education if they are absent. So for 1 month, I was PP education. And there I learned to motivate people, to ask them, to listen to them, ask them about their goals, also persuade them to take roles so that can reach their goals. So I learned how to communicate with people. And now I'm the club president. My secretary doesn't help the PPE. I help the PPE. So you see, every exco is different. Who is the alternate? Who is helping who? It depends on sometimes the strengths, and sometimes like me, I'm not so good in doing Canva, but I want to learn. So that is why I'm helping the PP public relation, even though it's actually not really in my role. But this year, as a club president, I was really very lucky because my VP membership, she really knows how to follow up guests. Wow. She texts them privately. She asks them what are their needs. She shows them how pathways can fulfill their needs. And she asks them how. She asked them whether they want to be a member.
Yes.
That simple question, do you want to be a member? She really asked that question. And once she told me, Harlina, I cannot make it to this meeting. There is this lady called, let's say, Lily, and she already came twice. After the meeting, can you ask her to become a member? And guys, I'm introvert. I was like, yeah, you asked me to ask this Lily girl to be a member. Okay, I will do it for you. So I reluctant. So after the meeting, we were still hanging around. We didn't directly close. We did tell them, hey guys, the meeting is over, but we still hang around. And then I said, hi, Lily. Oh, I've seen you several times at the meeting. What do you think? Do you want to become a member? And you know what she said to me? I thought you never asked. I was like, Then I gave her the number of my VP membership. Here's the number. She will tell you what to do. So you see, as an exco, we learn not only leadership, we don't only learn about communication, but also how to come out of our comfort zone. Even though reluctantly, but hey, I can do it. And so we learn and we grow together. And together, as an exco, we can grow and run towards the roar together. So that is what I learned in exco. Questions?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think really given some substance and vigorously to how to run the role for those who want to take leadership roles and are still hesitating. You've really given a lot of tips, a lot of advices that we can take from. I invite everyone to go back and listen again to what she has said. There is a lot of things in it to how you can run toward the role and take leadership roles in your club. Thank you. I think
I see a raised hand.
yes. There's a hand up. I want to go there and we continue. Indra, you want to have the word?
I had a question for Harlina and to thank her so much. Very interesting delivery, makes leadership and running towards the role look like fun. I've also been part of ExComs where not everybody is ready to run towards the role. They swear in and we start the business, and then somewhere people disappear, life happens. So have you been part of such as ExComs, and what have you done? When you are the leadership and half your ExCom is running away from the role.
It's actually happening right now. So it was in August 2021, when the secretary all of a sudden showed sign like, oh, I cannot do this anymore. And I was like, oh gosh, am I too much of a dictator or so? But she just gave up. And at that time, I was lucky that I could find replacement. However, in December 2021, my PPPR said, I'm so sorry, I'm going to college. I cannot do it anymore. And then I realized how much work actually PPPR is, because we have social media that we have to maintain. We post 3 times a week on Instagram. And I was like, who is going to do that? I cannot give it to one person. So we divided the work. Luckily, my SAA, because we are still online, she does the weekly flyers, and I do the recaps. And I ask every, sorry, I have to laugh about it, but I ask every officer to make a caption. So you make a caption this week, you make a caption for next week. So the caption is actually already uniform. The beginning and the ending was already uniform. I only need 2 sentences that are related to the theme of the meeting. So that is how we did it. And then my treasurer, he makes the flyers for the holidays. So it's spread all over, but it's a bit hard. It's tough because we only do Instagram. I have to admit, I'm really neglecting the Facebook, and I'm still neglecting the YouTube. I'm very envious of your YouTube. So we're doing the best we can.
Thank you. Dr. Christina Biro, I think, is answered the question, and it's also thank you very much, Indra, for this.